no memory is strong enough to hold intact what time and war have shattered. Every man, every woman, every child born after the Great War carried an invisible yet indelible mark: absence. It wasn't a lack of courage or dreams, but a real and tangible fracture carved into both flesh and spirit. For many, birth meant emerging into the light incomplete, half human, half a construction of metal and circuits. It was the price of a wounded world, poisoned by radiation and by the madness of those who once believed they could bend the earth to their will. Legend spoke of the lost half, a double, not a mere missing body part, but a living counterpart made of the same substance as one's soul, capable of restoring unity and truth to those brave enough to find it. Meeting them wasn't enough. You had to recognize them, win their trust, and together face the ancient ritual guarded by the old wise woman in a hidden cave to the east, where time bent and matter yielded to mystery. Many dismiss these stories as superstitions from a long-gone age, yet others, in the silence of the longest nights, felt the call. Not a sound, not a word, but a subtle warmth, a tremor through the chest, a reminder that somewhere a part of themselves walked the earth, waiting. It was not a journey for the faint-hearted. Seeking one's half meant challenging distances, fears, and invisible obstacles. It meant confronting those who wished to keep the world divided, incomplete, because a broken people is easier to control. But for those carrying that inner flame, there was no choice. Absence didn't allow for real living, only for survival. The world at that time was a web of ruins and attempts at rebirth. Cities breathed halfway, just like their inhabitants. On one side, crowded markets, lanterns, and spices. On the other, cold factories and laboratories where mechanical limbs and synthetic nervous systems were repaired. In between lay the wild lands, deserts of red sand, dark forests, mountains split by the ancient fire of war. It was there that the paths to the cave were hidden. Those who returned from that journey, and they were few, were never the same. Some found their other half and fused into a single, fully human being. Others, unable to convince their counterpart, came back emptier than before, carrying in their eyes the weight of a lost chance. This is not merely a story about bodies becoming whole, but about souls learning to recognize each other. It speaks of love born where it seemed impossible, and of bonds stronger than the metal that had for years held together what nature had lost. Elian, Liora, Kaden, Selenya, each of them heard the call. Some pursued it with the tenacity of those unafraid of pain. Others stumbled upon it by chance, discovering that chance is sometimes just another name for destiny. Their steps led them through mist-filled markets, silent deserts, and finally to the cave where the old wise woman guarded the rite. Yet this journey is not only theirs. It is the journey of an entire world, a civilization that had to look into the mirror and admit that living in halves was not living at all. The transformation of a few would open the way for the transformation of all. In this path, love is not a luxury, but a force that unites and heals. It is not a prize at the end of the road, but the thread that lets you cross it without breaking. It is the bond formed when two halves, wounded and incomplete, meet and realize they are each other's reflection. There comes a moment in every wanderer's life when the fear of remaining incomplete outweighs the fear of change. That is when the journey truly begins. One leaves behind the familiar city, the job, the friends, even the comfort of routine, and walks toward the unknown. You don't know if you will find what you seek, but you do know with certainty that not seeking it means giving up on yourself. The stories you are about to read are woven from dust and light. They are the memory of a time when hope seemed a luxury, yet someone had the courage to nurture it like a fragile seed in hostile soil. Every meeting, every glance, every word, spoken or left unspoken, was a stone laid down to cross the river of absence. Perhaps you will see yourself in one of them. Or perhaps you will glimpse in these pages a distant reflection of your own search. Because in the end, we all have a missing part. Sometimes it is a memory, sometimes a person, sometimes a part of ourselves we forgot along the way. This is not a fairy tale, even if it carries the flavor of ancient storytelling. It is a journey of flesh and spirit, of hands reaching for one another, of eyes learning to see beyond scars. It is the story of a world that learned to restore itself, not with gears and screws, but with courage, trust, and love. And when you close this book, I hope you carry with you this certainty. Even in the darkest times, your other half is always with you. The half of a companion is found more easily when you already feel whole in who you are. They are searching for you, just as you are searching for them. They imagine you as you imagine them.